Well, last night was great fun. It was the annual, well, it seems annual now, lineup of the Drunken Knights, a team of players who prefer playing in the pub rather than anywhere else. None of the players of the Drunken Knights get paid any money. Okay, I have to say, Neville does buy me the odd beer or two, sometimes more than the odd beer or two. But we were facing the almighty Wood Green team, who Brian Smith very graciously funds and keeps their tradition going strong. So only with Brian Smith's help, I think, is the team so strong and is this great condition, this great tournament and lineup continued. So have to thank Brian and Neville. Neville's a great organiser of these tournaments. I mean, the matches are played in the Plough pub in right by the British Museum in London. It's just opposite the British Museum. Very nice area, London, brilliant pub, and they sell Duvel beer. So I'm also a very happy person whenever there's a Drunken Night match. So it was a very interesting match. Rather hot the playing room, but that is just a small thing. Loads of people turned up for the match and to spectate. So there was chess journalists, people in the ECF, friends, family even were turning up in some cases. Now, I'm just going to do a very quick video today on my game against Nick Pert. Now, Nick is a very good friend of mine. Been a friend of mine probably since the age of 7 years old. This was played on board 2. And really, I had the white pieces and we're up against it. So there's no point having a quick draw, even if I'm not sure if Nick would have accepted a quick draw. But we had a great fight and a very entertaining game. I have to say, to my sins, I probably had a couple of beers during the game. Not too many, but it is played in a pub and you've got to enjoy it. Maybe this had some effect on my play. So drunken chess in the Drunken Knights at its best. So I had the white pieces and I didn't do any preparation because I didn't know what Nick was playing, but I played an idea in Nick's favourite Slav line, this e4 move, which I believe is dubious, b5, queen c2, that the very imaginative player Manuel Bosboom from the Netherlands basically has played on a couple of occasions. He's a great player, really imaginative player, once beat Kasparov in a blitz game. And he used to play an idea with g4, which is an idea I wanted to play in this game. So the game continued, bishop d2. Rather, I don't know, this is rather a drunken move, I feel. I just wanted to castle queenside quickly. And the bishop on d2 sometimes stops any counterplay from black with b4 and queen a5. So I simply just wanted to castle queenside and push g4. Even if I had to give up a pawn by g4, I was willing to play this move. I'll be 2 pawns down then. My opponent played bishop to e7. Now against bishop b7, I may well have just played g4 anyway. This duvel is a very strong drink. With the idea, if knight takes g4, I just play rook g1, knight to f6, and I have some action in the, well, I don't know where the action really is, but I have an open g file, and I can try maybe castling queenside and breaking the centre up with something like here, and bishop here, and knight here. This kind of rubbish. But so I'm quite glad my opponent played bishop to e7, and this was really asking for my next move. So the game now continued very interestingly. I managed to get my g5 break in. My knight hops into this square, and from this moment onwards, my opponent's always got to be concerned about knight takes f7, followed by e5 and queen to g6 check. This is my main attacking idea, and it looks very dangerous. So my opponent played knight to a6. If you want to have a look at the variations involved with this, and please have a look at the PGN file attached to this post, or if you're looking at this on YouTube, please go to my website at GingerGM.com, and it has the actual game annotations there, so you can have a look at any sidelines. I decided to castle, and my opponent came up with a beautiful and brilliant idea. He played queen takes d4. I mean, Nick is known to be a solid player, but on his day, Nick is a brilliant tactician and a brilliantly imaginative player as well. So, and his next idea, I actually spotted at this moment, by this stage, I couldn't do anything about it. So I thought, well, let's have some fun. So bishop to e3, queen to e5, f4, and now an amazing move from Nick. I mean, I was expecting queen c7 when I was going to go e5 and something like knight takes f7, knight takes c3, queen to g6. and this would have been complete chaos. So this is the kind of thing I was expecting, but I mean, I saw my opponent's possibility, but I only saw it a couple of moves ago. My opponent now played the amazing bishop to c5, sacrificing his queen for one bishop. An amazing idea from Nick. I took the queen, he took on e3 check, rook d2. And now it just gets more and more crazy. Rook d8, knight to f3. I have to defend this rook on d2. Now another brilliant move, rook takes h2. Complete chaos on the board. I mean, again, I'm not going to go into the calculations of this. I mean, I'll show you one line, which is completely mad. I mean, if I take on h2, for example, bishop takes d2 check is very strong. But I was actually even more concerned that, well, not concerned, but I thought there might be a very strange draw after rook takes d2 here. And even though I'm a whole queen up, the only way I could see to defend this was to go rook g3. And wherever he moves his bishop, I just keep attacking it with my rook. So this means that any discovered check he does, I can take his bishop, for example. Rook here, bishop here, rook here. Maybe one of the strangest draws I've ever seen, this kind of draw. Worth noting that knight to d1, which that would have been a very strong Duvel move, a very drunken move. Fails to rook to c2, checkmate. Crazy complications, but I played bishop to e2. My opponent now missed a great opportunity here. Okay, he's played a great game, so I'm not going to fault him too much here. But rook takes e2 here would have led to a very, well, similar position to the game, but it would have stopped any possibilities of mine. The idea is just to take all the central squares for his pieces. Even though he's a whole queen down, he's got a very dangerous position here. Instead, after bishop to e2, my opponent just took on d2. I recaptured. He took on g1. And as my beer glass was running out of beer, I played my move rather quickly here so I could run to the bar and get another drink before my time ran out. Instead, I should have simply taken on g6 with an advantage to me. I went knight to f1 instead, and now my opponent, I thought this was very strong, and when I returned from the bar with my newly formed pint of Duvel, what a drink it is. Really recommend you go and grab yourself a Duvel if you can. My opponent now sacrificed his queen, and after a forced sequence of events, we reached this position with an absolute unbelievable, shall we say, material situation. I mean, okay, let's just have a look at this position here. I mean, I think by here I was very pessimistic, even though I've got a queen for 2 pieces. He has 2 pieces, 4 pawns, but Nick has absolute control of some major squares, especially the dart squares. So I'm in a lot of trouble here because it's very hard for me to get my queen into the game. When you're playing against, when you've got the queen, you're playing against the minor pieces. You want them to be very badly protected, but here they're very well protected. And okay, I mean, my opponent then went on to play very well, and just at the last moment, there's one more interesting position. We got down to this position here. We were both in quite serious time trouble here. I played queen to a1 immediately, and my opponent now played bishop to e3 check immediately, but my opponent had the lovely win here of bishop takes b2, queen takes, and just king to b4. And even though he's a queen for a knight up, I'm not going to be able to stop his pawns from queening, so it would be completely lost. And after bishop to e3, I managed to get a rather fluky draw here with some perpetual check. But anyway, I hope you agree. Fascinating game, a lot of fun for both of us. And yeah, that's the kind of game you need to play in a pub. Proper coffee house chess. So I'd just like to add at the end of that I'd like to thank Neville Chan for running such a great team, the Drunken Knights. Hope it continues for a long time. My team members all turn up for free. You always have a great time. So thanks everyone, and very interesting game. I think you'll agree.